So technology. the I think artificial intelligence is gonna definitely be a dangerous thing because I mean you don't have to think much about it to realize that from all the movies we've seen, even Elon Musk is saying that that shit is really dangerous. I mean, it's just how many movies do you need to see to be able to understand that most likely robots will take over? And I mean, the new robot dog or whatever that they made. I don't know if you've seen that episode of Black Mirror, but that's pretty much enough for me to to conclude something. But yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting because the power of technology has the ability to connect us in many ways, as we all know. It has the ability to bring people together and stuff. But do I really think that do I really think that technology overall is beneficial? No, I don't think so. Because what we know about technology is that it's just another form of materialism. And what this means for society on like a big scale is that, I mean, this is the same hunger that people have for acquiring material objects. Technology is materialism in hiding. So there's many benefits to it. But a couple of years ago I threw out my phone. I even stopped using my laptop for a while, but just disconnected and ran away from all technology and had this big detox for like maybe a year or two. And it was probably the best year of my life, to be honest. Like that feeling of just being with it all and feeling the oneness without having to be attached to checking your Instagram, to checking your this and that. I didn't even have Instagram before. I didn't even know what it was. So to really answer the question, I really don't believe that it's a good idea because sure, technology, the internet is like a mimicking of consciousness, right? It's like that connectivity. It's for sure, it is a binding together of people. But I think the natural way to do this, the natural way of the singularity, of everything coming together is through the yogic way, the yogic path of connecting with the divine. And I think it's a more healthy way to do it because I don't know, if you look at the way technology does it, it also separates us a lot. And yeah, so the natural way doesn't take us away from each other. But that's the downside to technology, is that it also separates us because it's just as artificial as any other thing, and it's just another game, really. It's another game that we get caught up in, and I can guarantee you that they have more technology than they're giving to you, because you're just getting the iPhone, everything. But obviously they have rockets, right? They have spaceships, they have whatever, satellite technology. They have all the stuff that we know they have, but they aren't accessible to the public. And before, the internet was created originally by the military to be used in war, etc. But we didn't get the internet until like later on, where it was by accident discovered and given to people. So there's a lot of technology out there that that they already have, and there was ancient civilizations that were way more advanced. And yeah, it's many people believe that it's happened before, and that all this fall of humanity we're going through right now, the crash, the economical and material outburn of society, just the burnout of feeling like it's not satisfactory. And many people say that this has happened before in all the cycles of civilization. So that's an interesting theory, because I believe the same. If you think about, they had the technology, they had all this before, and they're just giving out a little bit. I mean, most likely there's been some kind of like mass extinction of humans before, and a re-entering back of the race into a new era. And we probably, I was listening to one podcast where Russell Brand was saying that when we look at these robots, we think, we feel this eeriness of like, oh, it feels wrong. And that's because most likely we have done it before, and now that feeling is because we remember, holy shit, we have destroyed humanity with this shit before, and now we're doing that thing again, right? That's so true. I think it's kind of mental to think about, but yeah, kind of crazy. But that's my view on it. Is as much as I want to connect with, as much as I want to like this idea, because people are saying, you know, the singularity, and people are saying if you can't fight it, join it, right? And I get that, but there's just something in me that, you know, always wants to quit and go live in the woods and just be with everything, and, you know, pick the fruit off the tree and farm and just live like that. And I think that's partially just because that, I don't know, the idea of just succumbing to this technology, I think is just the worst thing we can do, because right now we have in my opinion, right now we have a chance to go either way. We're at a crossroads where we can choose to go with the technological advancement and we can go into the materialism, or we can go back into the natural way of living, which won't harm the earth. Because the thing about technology is, whether you like it or not, whether you support the artificial intelligence thing or you don't support it, the fact of the matter is that you cannot avoid mass destruction. As soon as we implement, we can already see the damage done to implementing the technology of the level that we have now. But imagine if we put artificial intelligence like in an advanced form. We cannot avoid like mass extinction and mass destruction from that, because artificial intelligence will be for sure used in war, just like drones are already being used in war now. And so I think it's pretty obvious that it's a very dangerous thing to mess with. But this is just my view. My view is that it's not worth it. It's simply not worth it. And I agree, though. I don't think that we necessarily can. I don't think that we can fight it. I think the fight is going to be tough, because there's a certain level of progression now that's happening, and it's going so fast. I don't think we can stop it. But what I think we can do is make sure that our generation and our children is fighting for veganism, or fighting for, you know, having a nice place to be on Earth. And by the time we have our kids, grandkids, whatever, living here, they will have the chance of having at least a slice of paradise, you know? And I think that we can, maybe it's a bit egotistical, but if we can't fight it, I don't think the answer is to just join it. I think we have to do a, we have to do a counterculture movement, like, which is organically happening now, I think. We have to embrace that and do that. And through that we can establish at least a slice of paradise. That's what I think, is we can create and build infrastructures of beautiful places where, you know, like maybe 30% of the earth can be reforested, and maybe they will destroy the Amazon, but we can do what we can to create change. And I think that's the spirit and beauty of humanity, of being a human and wanting to create change, is our desire to make sure that we make the next best decision, and that we progress instead of regress. So Yeah, what do I think? I think there are certain benefits, like the communication, and right now it's kind of an aid, right? It's an aid. Technology is serving as a help to be able to awaken others. But what I also think is that if you put the benefits up next to the damage it's doing, I don't think that you are gonna get the statistics of it being worth it. I think that sure there's some good things about it, but if you look at how many side effects and negative things there are to that, I think you have to take that into the equation and think, okay, is this really what we want to be doing? Pursuing, building the better and better technology. Because does that make you happy? No. Does that make you appreciate your family? No. Does that make you feel love? No. So what's the point then? You know, what's the point of investing so much in having this sci-fi futuristic reality? But I mean, everyone has different views, and I get it. And I think there should be room for people having that view, but if you are a true environmentally minded person and you want your kids, etc., to live in a productive world, you need to ask yourself that question of what's important, because that's always what you gotta think about. It's not so much, you gotta think about you, what kind of life do you want to have these like 80 more years that you have here, or 70 years or whatever. But you have to think about your kids, potentially kids. Which kind of world do they want to live in? And look at this tree and see how beautiful it is. And to me, how the beauty of being on this planet is in appreciating what we have, not trying to build some sort of like sci-fi world where drones are flying everywhere, and I think the hard thing for people is just to give up the comfortability that they've gotten used to. Instagram is a comfortability. Drones give nice shots for your vlog. There's many things that people cannot give it up now. It's become like a comfort, but it can become the highest discomfort that you can imagine. It can become very, very unpleasant very, very quickly. So I don't think that we should join it just because we can't fight it. I think we should do what we can to... Sorry, I had to make a cut. But yeah, I think just because but what we can do is we can create as much as we can, and that'll be beautiful. I think that we can establish a good slice, a good counterculture movement that will be able to provide a safety net and it's like a good beginning for the change. And yeah, for sure, I get that when people say like, you know, that, oh, I think the singularity is cool because it's gonna happen, right? And there's certain aspects to the singularity which can be pretty cool. But I think again that people are just afraid of it actually, and pretending that they support this because of this mentality of, well, you know, I can't change it anyway, it's gonna happen, right? But I think that, no, I don't even think it's gonna happen if we resist it. I think that there will be introduced some things, but I think that also certain people, though Elon Musk has completely given up, right? And he's like, well, it's gonna happen, there's no way that I can change it. But I think that a lot of people, in like high ranking people, I think a lot of those people also still are aware of this. So yeah, that's pretty much what I think. That's my long rant on it. But it's something that's been on my mind for a long time, and a lot of people are talking about it right now. Pretty hot topic. But they are usually in support of it. So I thought I would give my very skeptical point of view on why I don't really support it. It's just not in my blood, I guess. It's not in my being to think, wow, this is going to be a great idea to introduce this like hyper technological world. It's really not what I think is the best thing, because it amplifies the ego, and it makes you more, it makes you just more artificial, and we are already getting away from our human nature and becoming more artificial. And that's not what we want to do, you know. What we want to do is get in contact with the soul, and if you want to see the afterlife, you want to see what God is like, if you want to get to those higher levels of consciousness, you need to be pure, and you need to dive into that. And I think that artificial intelligence, in terms of the singularity, is just the hippie's dream of meeting these realms in a way through a pair of, technological glasses that can transport you to this place and, become immortal. It's like the artificial way of achieving everything that the spiritual life will give you organically. It's kind of like someone, doing excessive amounts of drugs to attain enlightenment without having any kind of foundation of spirituality. I would say going for materialism and technology in order to achieve the goal of becoming immortal, living forever and stuff like this, and like achieving insight into the astral and going to all these dimensions. It's the same thing, I think. You can do that naturally, but you are choosing to do it artificially because you do not have the strength to just pursue it organically. This is what I think. Let me know what you think. give me some good ones. What you think? Maybe you have something interesting, something new and fresh would be cool. Yeah, so subscribe, like if you haven't already, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.